Hey guys, what is up? So if you clicked on this, you know what this is about. So this whole Mason Rudolph Myles Garrett situation, it's been, by the time you guys are seeing this, 9 days since it happened. Because you'll be seeing this Saturday, I'm recording it Friday, so it's been 8 for me, it'll be 9 for you guys once you see this. And we've had a lot of information come out, and we went through the appeal hearings of everyone's suspensions and whatnot. Fines, as far as I'm aware, haven't been handed out yet to players other than Marquise Pouncey, Myles Garrett, and Larry Ogunjobi. Those were the three players that we knew got punished, and they said more could possibly be punished. As far as I'm aware, though, as of recording this, I've heard nothing. I heard there was a rumor Mason was going to get fined like $35,000. Haven't heard anything since. So I'm just going to talk about the incident a little bit. You guys can have your own opinions. I have my opinions. We're human. We're allowed to have opinions, whether they're the same or different. If you and I have the same opinion, great. If you and I have a different opinion, okay, great. We're allowed to have different opinions. And just because my opinion's something and your opinion's something doesn't mean that one of us is necessarily wrong. So, first off, what we should all agree with, what Myles Garrett did is wrong. Now, how he got there, a lot of people are saying doesn't really matter. So it matters a little how it escalated to that point, but what doesn't matter is that whatever happened does not justify getting hit over the head with a helmet. It doesn't. So there have been several things that said Mason grabbed him in the groin or punched him in the groin, he kicked him in the groin, he called him a racial slur. There have been a lot of things that have come out. The NFL found no evidence of the racial slur accusation. And Myles is saying, I heard what I heard, I know what I heard. He doubled down on it. He's like, yeah, he did. And he didn't feel it was necessary to say that until his appeal hearing. Why not just say that straight out? Straight out the gate. That was the most confusing thing. If he had said that right out of the gate, it would be more believable than him saying it during the appeal hearing. And then there was the whole punching him in the groin or grabbing him in the groin. I can't remember which people were saying. And they show an angle, and it looks like it. You look at the other angle, he completely misses Myles Garrett. This was at the point where he was going after Myles. And then there's a situation where he's on the ground and people are saying, he's kicking Myles in the groin. And it, from the angle, if you freeze, you do this, you do that. Yeah, if you look right at his foot, it looks like it was right in his groin. But my question is, at this point, does Myles have his hands on Mason's face mask? And if so, can Mason even see where his legs are going? Or is he just trying to kick? And he knows he's kicking somebody, probably Myles, but to try to get him off him. Or to try to, hey, let go of my face mask. So, there's a bunch of different things. I am going to show some of the fight. If the NFL copyrights it, the NFL copyrights it, I don't care. I don't make any money off these anyway. So, yeah, I'll let you guys take a look at that. And then there's another thing I want you to take a look at afterwards. But we'll go into the Myles clip right now.
There's a flag as... Whoa! Hello! Whoa! Mason Rudolph got into it. To get out of there. What in the world? Believe Myles Garrett? There'll be swinging a helmet?
Yeah, there'll be some ejections coming out of this.
There may be suspensions.
That's right, suspensions.
Myles Garrett. That was well after the play. And here it is.
Well, he tackled Rudolph. Rudolph didn't like the way that he was tackled.
Oh, gosh.
Man.
Oh, man. Oh. Oh, my goodness. Rips the helmet off Rudolph's head and then eventually swings it and hits him in the head. And then Ogunjobi comes up and hits Rudolph from behind.
Beyond words, Joe.
Oh, my gosh. That's one of the worst things I've ever seen on a professional sports field.
You know, Joe, I have been involved with these in the league office, and it would come to officiating first and then go upstairs for discipline. But this is beyond the normal discipline. This is beyond the normal fine. I think you're absolutely right. It's a foul period to take a guy's helmet off and swing it and use it as a weapon. Automatic ejection by rule. But it goes beyond that now to possible suspension. Of course, then Pouncey, was it Pouncey that was kicking and throwing the punches?
Well,
that's another one.
They're absolutely. I mean, this is multiple game suspension right here. It's just. I mean, it's. I hate that anybody even has to watch this. This is barbaric, is what this is.
Still the. Joe, what they're doing now, by the way, is talking to New York, because New York can look at this whole skirmish and they can now pick the players that should be disqualified from the game and even create fouls that aren't called. That were obviously, there were quite a few called, but they can look who was involved with the fight, who threw punches, who swung helmets, who kicked, and can add on, which means more discipline to come, either in fines or suspension.
Eight seconds left in this game, and that's what everybody's walking away from this Thursday night game with. That's horrible.
It's horrible, and these two teams meet again in 17 days. Just think what that's going to be like.
You see Mike Tomlin saying, "Mason, you're out." Garrett brings Mason Rudolph down. And Rudolph is ripping at Myles Garrett's helmet. And then Garrett rips Rudolph's helmet and swings it at him.
Okay, guys, so now I've also heard a lot of people say, you know, after Mason had his face mask grabbed and the helmet ripped off, he could have just walked away and he never would have gotten hit in the head. But Mason said something after, and he said, you know, he won't be bullied. Or something to that extent is the word I'm looking for. Something to that extent, you know, I won't be bullied, or, you know, I stand up to bullies, blah, blah, blah. Calling Myles Garrett a bully for that. Here's a clip I'm going to show you. It's from the 2018 NFL preseason week 4 against the Carolina Panthers. This was Mason Rudolph's rookie season. Now, Mason is going to run into the end zone for a touchdown, but he's going to take a hit from a Carolina defender. And I want you guys to watch this, and I'll talk about it in a hot second.
All right, Steelers trying to make it 25-7 here, under a minute left in the first half. A lot of good offense today by the Steelers. Rudolph now gets away from pressure, takes it in himself. Takes a little hit there at the end, but he crossed the goal line, and he's passing now. He's very upset with getting hit when he did. Flags fly. You don't see that much out of Rudolph normally. I think that was Andre Smith, number 57, who came in. Now, he had already crossed the goal line, and that's what he was upset about.
Okay, so in that clip, Mason takes the hit from number 57, the linebacker. And at this point, when he had taken the hit, he was already in the end zone. And he took the hit. Now, because of the protections that quarterbacks are given, and they're really... And at that point, he's a runner, blah, blah. They're going to protect the quarterback as much as they possibly can. So, even a third-round draft pick rookie. So, but that's not the point. The point is Mason gets up, and he goes to get in number 57's face. That's who Mason is. He did it there. When he got hit late by the Panthers defender, he went up, and he's going to go get in his face. Myles ripped off his helmet. Now, Myles is a lot bigger than this linebacker, I assume. But Myles rips off his helmet. What does he do? He gets up. He's going to go get in Myles Garrett's face. It's who he is. And it's odd because I think there's kind of a double standard in the NFL. Let's say that player was DeAndre Hopkins, right? It was DeAndre Hopkins who had his helmet ripped off by a corner, by a defensive back. Is DeAndre going to go get in that corner's face? Probably. Would DeAndre get as much criticism from it? Who knows? Because I think wide receivers are almost expected to act differently. Well, a quarterback is expected to act differently than other positions on the field. The quarterback's supposed to be that leader. He's supposed to be the professional, the adult. So to have Mason get up and get in that guy's face, it's like, whoa, what are you doing? No, you're the quarterback. Leave that to the other guys. Which, that's not who Mason is. He's going to go get in your face, and he's going to let you know what you did wrong. So, then there's the whole debate, who started it. This is where you really get into opinions, where it's, well, Mason started it because he grabbed at Myles Garrett's helmet, he, kicked him, he did all this stuff. Well, if you saw in the clip, when Mason Rudolph gets taken down, Joe Schobert, the middle linebacker, he's there too. He was right there with Mason and Myles. Myles was the only player to bring Mason down, because Joe Schobert, he saw Mason pass the ball. He didn't have it anymore, so why would he take Mason down and risk a penalty? So he stopped. Whether Myles Garrett knew or not that Mason had the football, or whether he knew or not that Mason didn't have the football, in Myles' head, he's going to be like, okay, he still has the football, I'm taking him down. Or it could be, I know he doesn't have the football anymore, but I can't stop. Or, third option, I know he doesn't have the football anymore, I could have stopped, but I'm not going to. Because I'm going to rub this in his face a little more. So, there's a few different options as to why Myles took Mason down, even though Joe Schobert was able to stop. Either he didn't know, and he thought Mason still had the ball. He knew Mason didn't have the ball, but he couldn't stop. Or he knew Mason didn't have the ball, and he just kept going because he wanted to. There's a few different, but whichever one it is, Mason doesn't know what's going through Myles Garrett's head. So he thinks, he just took me down late. Screw you, Myles. And he's going to try to get him off him. So he's grabbing at the helmet. Now, there was other people saying early on, what if Mason's left hand, it looked like it was right up at the face mask. What if his left hand was stuck and he was grabbing at the helmet, trying to get it off? Now, early on, I think Mason had both hands on the helmet. So did he grab the helmet, then he got his left hand stuck? So he's like, oh crap, and he's trying to get it out? Or did he just grab at the helmet trying to get Myles off? Whatever ended up happening, I did see, though, it looked like Myles grabbed the face mask before Mason kicked in the groin. That's what it looked like to me. After looking at replay again, I'll look at it again to see if I'm actually right about that. But if that's true, then the whole, he kicked him in the groin, that's why he grabbed his face mask. No, that's not why. So, there's a few different things. I saw one thing that said, Mason bit Myles. I'm like, really? He bit him? Really? That's what you're going for now? Which, that was the one and only report that ever said that. Even Myles didn't say that from the appeal hearing. Now, they showed a picture of Myles Garrett bleeding. Yeah, football players bleed all the time. Especially if it's fake turf, like if the field isn't real grass. That's going to hurt when you hit the ground. You're going to bleed. Stuff happens. So Myles Garrett isn't the first person to bleed on a football field. Like, and then there's, different stuff throughout the game that says, people are saying that the Browns were headhunting. They were intentionally trying to hurt the Steelers players because you had Juju, who got hit in the head twice on the same play. Really, two Browns players went boom, helmet to helmet, right to Juju. On that same play, Mason got hit in the head on the pass, and then Deontay Johnson later in the game got hit by Demarius Randall, which led to his ejection. And Deontay Johnson having bleeding out of his right ear. Again, bleeding. But does that mean Demarius Randall bit him? No, he's not Michael Tyson. He didn't bite him on the ear. But it's just, you have all these things swirling going around, especially with two franchises who just hate each other. And that's the thing. With the Steelers and the Ravens, they hate each other, but they respect the hell out of each other. I hit my desk. But, they respect the hell out of each other. With the Browns and Steelers, it's just hate. And even with the Steelers and Bengals, which they're playing this week, it's hate. There's no respect. So you have all these different things happening. And it's unreal that you have that. Because, the fact that you would actually think, now, all of that all together, the fact that there were so many headshots in the game, is it possible that Myles knew Mason didn't have the ball and still took him down anyway? Does that almost give it more evidence, I guess? Could be a word for it. But does that almost like push that as a good argument? Like, hey, maybe they were headhunting and they were being physical, they were taking unnecessary shots. So there's all these different things you have to consider when you're talking about this. And it is absolutely nuts that we are talking about this as being a possibility. But it's just unreal. I was watching it live. And I was shocked. I was dumbfounded that something like that would actually happen. Now, originally, I'm like, okay, first, screw you, Myles. What, because he took down Mason, and then for some reason ripped off Mason's helmet, and then hit him with it. And then Marquise Pouncey comes in, and literally, Larry Ogunjobi, he had no reason to shove Myles Garrett down. He said Mason Rudolph down. He said he was going to go defend his teammate. Mason's 3, 4, 5 feet away from the pile, and you go and hit him? And then, as you're just standing there looking at the pile of players, Mason's standing there, and there's a Browns defender to his right, and they start, pushing arms. And I'm like, this was unreal. Cam Hayward got in, I think, possibly Larry Ogunjobi's face. Like, there were so many things that happened during that play. And it's unreal. Like, here's the thing. Last thing I'm going to say. With the whole racial slur thing. The NFL found no evidence. They said no mics picked it up, and they even used camera angles to try to see and read Mason's lips. Because you can tell by his lips if he says that one word no one should say, but people still do. that one word no one should say. And nothing. There's like, yeah, we have nothing to back this up. Now, does that necessarily mean Myles was lying? I guess in theory, no. But none of the Browns players heard about that. Myles didn't say it initially. No refs said that, that was said. No offensive lineman for the Steelers said that. It's like, literally, no one backed up that story. It's just Myles brought it up during the hearing. Literally, not a single person backed up that story. And if he's lying, then that is so bad. Not even just you're lying about Mason saying a horrible word, which throws his reputation in the mud, not even just in the dirt, in the mud. And then people are questioning him, but you just lied about someone saying a racial slur when we have so many racial issues in this country right now. Where Colin Kaepernick has been blackballed from the league, basically. Where he's better than probably half the backups out there. Like, you would literally... The NFL will sign me to play quarterback before they sign Colin Kaepernick. And I never played a damn game of football in my life. Not one. Obviously, you play during recess as a kid, or you play with your friends in the backyard. But on an actual team, I never played a single game of football. On a legit team. Never. I played soccer. I didn't play football one day of my life. Not practice, nothing. No, I didn't try out. I didn't do anything. And they would sign me to play quarterback before they signed Kaepernick. That's how bad it is. Where, you can't... Now, some of these people, yes, they are better than Colin Kaepernick. I will 100% agree with that. But other people that are in this league that are worse than Kaepernick but are getting jobs. You got people who, they could have been undrafted, played for 5 different teams in 3 years, and they've been out of the league for 5 years. Hey, we're pulling you out of retirement. What? But you have and then not even just Kaepernick, but you have so many racial issues already if you set Kaepernick aside. If you don't even look at him, there are so many racial issues, and for Myles to do that, if it's a lie, that's bad. That's just bad and that... It's hard to even describe if he's lying what that feeling would be. To people say play the race card. To play the race card just to try to get out of your suspension, but throw his name in the mud. That, or, Myles Garrett, I heard it. I know what I heard. I heard what I heard. But Mason saying, I didn't say that. What if Mason said something, but Myles misheard it? Or if Mason literally didn't say anything, but Myles thought he heard something. So here's the thing. Both people could be telling the truth. Myles thinks he heard it, or he says he knows, but, he believes he heard it. But if Mason didn't actually say it, but he just imagined it, then he could truly believe what he's saying. But then Mason never actually said it. Then or Mason says something, and he's not lying when he said he didn't say that word, but Myles thought it was, and he believes it to be that word. Now, that's a situation where both people could be telling the truth. But it's not likely. If the NFL said, dude, look, we didn't have a single mic pick it up. Plus, people are saying, look, there's a mic over there, there's a mic there. It's possible if Mason did say it, he said it quiet enough where the mic didn't pick it up. That's entirely possible. But the ref didn't hear it. The Steelers' offensive lineman didn't hear it. The Browns players didn't hear about it, because even if Myles doesn't say that to the cameras. Like, if the Browns said, hey, don't say it to the cameras. You can tell your team, just don't say it to the cameras. You think he would tell. It's not like he's on a team full of white people. There are multiple African Americans on that team that he could have told. Larry Ogunjobi, who shoved Mason. Why wouldn't he tell him? Like, hey, dude, what was going on there? And, I got a flag. I got ejected for that. What happened? It's like, dude, he said that word. So, it was just a crazy situation. Something I hope doesn't happen again, because Mason got very lucky. You can say whatever you want. If Myles hits him with the right part of the helmet on the right part of the head, Mason drops right to the ground. And then you're really getting a fight at that point. Like, you're talking freaking all-out brawl. That's what you're getting at that point. You would get an all-out brawl. And it would take, I don't know how many minutes for the refs to settle everything out. You would have to eject the entire teams. That's what would end up happening at that point. All 46 active players from each team, you're getting ejected. That's what would have happened if Mason gets hit and drops. So, it was just a crazy situation. And feel free to leave your opinion down below in the comments. Be respectful to other people. Like I said, we're allowed to have differing opinions. This was my opinion. And I even showed you the other clip. Like, that's who Mason is. He's not going to let someone, get away with something like that. He's going to go get in your face. Now, once he got hit in the helmet, he's like, okay, I'm out. This is too much for me. When it got violent like that, that's when he's like, nope, that's it, I'm done. So, but that's who Mason is. He's going to get in your face and he's going to give you the business on why he felt you wronged him. That Panthers player, he hit him late. Myles Garrett, you could say he hit him late, or at least Mason believed he hit him late because Joe Schobert was there too. And he's like, nope, Mason has the ball, not tackling him. Or Mason doesn't have the ball anymore, he threw it, I'm not tackling him, I don't want a flag. And Myles is taking him to the ground anyway. Now, again, I gave the three options of what was possibly going through Myles' head. So, but if you guys enjoyed this, please like. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and turn notifications on. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.
Once I was 7 years old, Mama told me, go make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7 years old.